Welcome to the Proper Property Podcast with Johnny and Luke.
Welcome back to the Proper Property Podcast. I'm Luke, and today I am here with Ben and Hollie.
Hello.
Hello.
Good to have you both on. So, Ben and Hollie, SA operators, educators, and TV famous. So I've heard from Channel 4's Four in a Bed. Is that right?
That's right, that's correct, yeah.
We'll say famous.
We'll dive a little bit more into that and a little bit later on in the episode. So today we're going to be diving into your journey. How you built your portfolio, where you met, how you met, and how you came across the rent-to-rent system, the rent-to-rent strategy, and how you turned that strategy into where you are now. And what the future holds for the both of you as well. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great, well, I'm Ben.
I'm Hollie.
As you say, yeah, rent-to-rent operators and educators now. We started doing a bit of mentorship this year, which is really new to us, but absolutely loving it so far. When did we start? We got started in 2020.
Yeah.
And in the midst of lockdowns.
That was the question there. Was that before, or had you decided to do this before lockdown, or was it during lockdown that you made the decision?
This was completely a brand new thing to us. I mean, you took the reins with it, really. I wasn't too interested in a business. I was like, I'm just playing my Xbox, this is lockdown, this is great, I'm on furlough. Hollie was like, I'm going to start a business.
Yeah, we were both on furlough, weren't we? And I was like, I've always wanted a business, didn't know what it was going to be. And it was lockdown, and I was like, right, that's it. And I just kind of got obsessed with it and started what was management, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't rent-to-rent from the beginning. We didn't actually know what rent-to-rent was back then.
We had no idea. Yeah, and it basically started with this little village in Yorkshire called Haworth. Not many people know it, but it's this really rural countryside village, isn't it? And there's a few holiday cottages there, quite a few. And you basically, Hollie's parents had a couple of holiday cottages, and it was just a conversation with your mum, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of the big operators really struggled in lockdown. Like, they weren't communicating with anyone. All the property owners didn't have a clue what was going on. And I was like, what we need is like a small business who actually cares. So it just stemmed from there, and that's where the first business was born. And I just started reaching out to loads of property owners, finding their emails, putting letters through the door. And I got 2 on within the space of a couple of weeks, didn't we?
Yeah.
And
really
she was
cool.
like, yeah, come meet me. I'm based in Scotland, and I've got 2 all the way down in Haworth. So I went to meet. I had no idea what I was doing. I had a little clipboard. I had a little thing that I took with me. I don't know why
Winging
I thought. Yeah.
Every business owner winged it.
100%.
Yeah, we're still winging.
No matter what people say, every business owner at the start of their business was winging it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if they're anything like me, and what you've just touched on, we're still winging it, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're still
Big
winging
time.
it. But it felt good to just have that little clipboard. I thought, yeah, I know what I'm doing here. And then, she just said, off you go, take them on. And I did the full shebang. So the cleaning, the bookings, whole process. And it kind of gave me and you something to do in furlough. I dragged you into the cleaning side of it.
Which I wasn't happy about, by the way, yeah.
Well, I'm assuming you were playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, taking me away from... it was Warzone, it was Warzone.
I knew
It was
exactly.
a great time.
As soon as you said furlough and Xbox, I was like, I know exactly where he was.
Yeah.
In Verdansk.
Very true. Yeah, so I got ripped away from the Xbox into cleaning, which I wasn't happy about at the time. But I think it's nice looking back now, because I'm like, do you know what? I'm so glad we went through that. I'm so glad that we were given furlough as an opportunity to start a business. And we always think back to that time. And if furlough hadn't happened, I'm really confident that we would have just stayed in 9-to-5 jobs.
Yeah.
We would.
Easily. So
what were your 9-to-5 jobs before? Let's go back a little bit before that. So what was life like before lockdown, before furlough? Both in 9-to-5 jobs, enjoying your jobs, not enjoying your jobs? What was life like?
So I was in recruitment and both worked in... Oh no, you changed jobs by that point.
I just changed just before lockdown, 6 months before I went into a new job. But yeah, Hollie was in recruitment. We both met, we were both working in recruitment. And I'd just taken on a job doing remote sales or field sales. So I was driving around Yorkshire, selling software. Hollie was in recruitment, but yeah, we both got put on furlough. I didn't mind my job.
You loved your job because I had to go into the office, and before your job, you had to go into the office.
Yeah.
It was a typical 9 to 5. It was actually longer than 9 to 5 because it was recruitment, so it was like an 8 till 7, 8. And the good parts were good, the social aspect and the commission and things. Well, the commission actually wasn't that good because I didn't actually get any commission. But the actual social side was good, and it felt good for what a 9-to-5 was.
Yeah.
And then when Ben got his sales job, like, you had all this freedom, and he could just choose what meetings he went to. He didn't have to go into an office. Yeah. You got taken away to America and stuff for like training and Vegas and all these things, and I was like, wow, this is like the creme de la creme of the job, wasn't it?
Perfect.
But we're both still like, we're in this mindset, we're like, right, I was working in Leeds. We're looking to rent an apartment in Leeds, weren't we, for us? And that's how we're going to continue and work our way up in the 9-to-5.
Yeah,
in the norm, the
that's
standard,
it. Exactly.
The matrix, as people call it.
100%. Yeah, and it did feel slightly promising, but looking back at it now, like, wow, that would have just really got us into a bit of a rut, which would have been a lot harder to escape.
Yeah.
But I think we always knew we were always destined to go into business. We both had that drive. Both our parents were entrepreneurs in one way or another, so I think it was always there. It was always ingrained. We just didn't know what business we would have gone into.
Yeah.
And so we fell into management out of, I think, Hollie being bored.
Yeah, it was. Just wanted to do something else. But the original plan, because our parents are quite traditional, is like you get some money, then you buy a property. And that's where it started. We're like, right, we'll get a bit of extra cash in. We could see what the property owners were making. And we're like, right, well, we'll buy our own one day. That's what the plan was, wasn't it? We'll just keep taking managed on.
Yeah.
We went back to work and we still did managed. And that was the goal, wasn't it, until Rent-to-Rent.
That was it, yeah. The BRR, the flips, all that sort of stuff was like, okay, this is how we're going to escape.
The core investment strategy.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think we worked it out one day, and it was like, right, if we put this money aside that we're earning from our 9-to-5s, if we can put away £300 a month or something, in 2 years' time, we'll be able to buy the cheapest buy-to-let on the property. We'll flip it, or we'll refurb it. And then that's it, and then we'll stack up another one, right? And it was like,
if nothing goes wrong.
Yeah.
If everything runs
the
smoothly,
ideal scenario,
you don't have to spend money on that or spend money on that.
Exactly.
Then in 2 years' time, it's a slow process, right? The normal day-to-day
100%
routine that, from an early age, from school, it was always instilled to us: get your GCSEs, go to college or do an apprenticeship, get a job, get a mortgage, pay your mortgage off, retire, die.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's what was instilled to us from a very early age.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think now, isn't it? It's really cool. And the generation before us, that was instilled so much, and it was like, when you get to retirement, don't worry, your pension will look after you. Don't worry about your pension bit. And and we've seen, and even our parents' generation, it's like, it's not the case now. So I think if you are wanting a better life, you need to take matters into your own hands.
100%.
No one else
is
going to do it.
Really good point you touched there, yeah. Couldn't agree more. So, you're doing your management.
Mm-hmm.
You then stumble across Rent-to-Rent. Who stumbled across Rent-to-Rent?
Ben.
That was me. Spending too much time on YouTube.
Well done. Well done. That's exactly how I stumbled across Rent-to-Rent. Again, during furlough, when I wasn't in Verdansk playing Call of Duty, I stumbled across Rent-to-Rent on YouTube, and it changed my life. It changed what I was doing, and it's done the same for you. So I've said it before in previous podcasts, I've said it to many people: Rent-to-Rent changes lives.
Big time.
If it's done right.
Correctly.
Yeah. If it's done correctly, it's game changing and it's life changing. So you found it on YouTube?
Found it on YouTube, and you know what? I think I was on YouTube because I was wanting to improve and optimize the management business.
Yep.
So naturally the algorithm pushes that stuff to you. So I'm coming across it, and I keep hearing this sort of rent-to-rent or rent-to-serviced accommodation sort of stuff. So I start watching videos, and I'm like, this is amazing. That whole thing of us taking 15% commission for managing properties, and us seeing how much the owner was making, I was like, imagine if we could get all of that. That'd be amazing. That'd really change our lives. And then I sort of half-heartedly went into reaching out to landlords. And I think the difficult thing for me at the time was because we never really got any guidance. We didn't get a mentor. We couldn't afford it. But I sort of had this inkling of like, if I can just get one and it works, then we've found something here. We could really get this scaled up. And for 3 months it took me, where I was reaching out to landlords, sending messages off, making phone calls, and not really understanding the pitch or what I was kind of selling to them as a solution. And looking back on it now, it's great because I know that I've got something that I can give to a landlord that's going to benefit them massively.
Yep.
At the time, I was very much in this mindset of, I just want their property to make money off, and they're going to read into that, and they're not going to go for it. And I think I was just lucky that after 3 months, I finally hit a letting agent, and I was a bit cheeky with it, and I'd never recommend anyone does this, but I'd set up the viewing for myself. I was like, hey, I'm here to rent. I'm going to go at this viewing. And I felt bad. I got a bit guilty, I think the day before, and I rang her up and I said, hey, just to let you know, actually, this isn't for me. It's for service accommodation. Appreciate if it's not going to be possible, you can let me know.
Yep.
No hard feelings. She turned around, she went, that's fine. I'll see you tomorrow. I was just like, wow, okay. And we got the view, and it was a great apartment in Ripon, which is North Yorkshire, about 20 minutes up from Harrogate, where we live. And it was this beautiful, recently refurbed apartment right in the market square, 1 bed. We couldn't have asked for a better one to start with, in all honesty. And it kind of just went from there. That was the first taste of rent-to-rent that we got. And then 6 months down the line, once it had been working, the landlord had the whole building, and he rang us up and he was like, the tenants next door have just moved out, do you want that one as well? So
I hear that so many times. The same landlord sees, wow, this actually is game changing, not just for you and me as the person doing the rent to rent, but for them as a landlord. Because there's so many positives and advantages to the landlord, not just to yourselves, of having a rent to rent contract.
That's it.
And it's happened to us, and it's happened to many people that I've spoke to, and I'm now hearing that it's happened to you as well. That same landlord sees it and says, you can have another one, you can have another one, and you can have another one. That for me tells me that rent to rent works.
100%.
Yeah.
Definitely.
When a landlord sees that it works, and we've got landlords that we do rent to rent with, and they're now buying property just to give it to us on a rent to rent and stuff like that, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
For a model that has a bit of stigma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you still find that as well?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
We see it all the time, and I think because it's not legitimized, or maybe it's such a new strategy. It's not been around for decades and decades. You know, it's
not a core strategy. It's not
Yeah.
BRR. It's not buy to let. It's not a flip. It must be dodgy.
Yeah.
Too good to be true.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I do hear that. It's funny, I speak to a lot of people that are looking to come onto our Airbnb coaching, and you know, this always comes up, the whole core strategy thing of like, oh, I'm thinking about buying a property to flip or whatever, and they sort of say, but the cash flow is so attractive for rent-to-rent. I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand that, and you got to understand it is technically property investing, but it's also not. It's actually a hospitality business. That's why the cash flow is so good. You're using the property as a vehicle to run a hospitality business at the end of the day.
Yep.
And it relies very much on having a good guest experience that will allow you to be successful down the line. And that's the difference there.
I couldn't agree with you more. And something I touched on previously, rent to rent is amazing when it's done correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think having that mindset is one of the absolute necessities to running a good rent to rent business, because it is a hospitality business. And unless you're running that rent to rent business as a hospitality business rather than an investment business, I don't want to say the word you will fail, but you'll find it very, very difficult because it is a hospitality business.
Yeah.
You said your parents had holiday cottages, so you kind of had that experience already.
Yeah.
Dealing with guests or help. Did you help them in that role before that?
Yeah, so with the cleans, the guests, like it was on where we lived, so it was like next door there was 3 cottages and they renovated them to do Airbnbs, and was with guests all the time, so you know what goes into running a business. It's not just you can pop it on there and hope for the best and they'll sort themselves out. There's a lot that comes with it, which I think a lot of people get into it don't understand.
You had that hospitality insight, which is game changing. For me, I used to manage hotels, so I had that hospitality insight, which for me allowed me to scale my management side as fast as I did, because I understood guest management, rate management, and managing hotel rooms, which rent to rent on a large scale, or service accommodation on a large scale. It's a hotel in different buildings.
Exactly.
That's all it is. If you can treat a rent to rent service accommodation business like a hotel business, you'll do well. Because
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's a hospitality business.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting as well at that point of people coming into it with a investment mindset. And you've seen this a lot over the last few years where landlords are then moving away from AST contracts of long-term lets because their mate is making a load of money off Airbnb and they're like, oh, I'll just throw some furniture in there and list it on Airbnb.
Stick it on Airbnb.
Yeah,
Make
it'll
a
work.
ton of money. And they don't have that hospitality piece to it. It's the thing that's lacking, but that's what makes you successful within rent to rent. And you see, they come in and 6 months later, they crash and they burn and they exit and they go, oh, service accommodation sucks, it's no good, you can't make any money from it. And they're back to ASTs.
I was once walking through Sheffield city centre and there was a bloke, and I'm not sure if it was his wife or his girlfriend, but they were walking towards me. And the man said, well, just stick it on Airbnb. How hard can that be?
Oh, my famous last words.
I stopped, I turned around and gave him my card. I said, call me in 6 months and tell me how hard it was. And he was like, he called me 6 months later.
Amazing.
Yeah, he didn't want me to take on management, but he said, I remembered your interaction and I actually did want to call you and say it was a lot harder than I expected it to be. But I just heard, I'll stick it on rent to rent, how hard can it be?
Yeah.
And I carried on walking, I went, no, I can't let that go.
Fair play.
That is brilliant.
So he didn't give you his property to manage, but
No.
he called you up and he said, by the way,
You were
ran-
right.
random guy in the street
Yeah.
6 months ago.
Yeah.
You were right.
Yeah, he kept the card. He kept the card and he called me back. So you're now rent to renting properties. You've got one, yeah. You tell your friends and family, I'm doing rent to rent.
Oh my God.
How do they react to that?
Well, initially we didn't tell the family, did we? It was
You
well,
were
I didn't tell-
terrified of
yeah.
telling your parents.
My parents' input is a lot. Any advice, because they're very much, well, we get advice and everything from them, and I've always taken their advice on board. And their advice was always, you save a bit of cash up and then you'll buy, because that's what they've always done. We just moved into our first home together, so cash was limited, wasn't it, when we first got
Very
our first
limited,
property on? And it showed when we set it up. Honestly, the furniture was diabolical, wasn't it? But I didn't tell them initially because I thought it took you a lot to convince me. And I thought if I then get their opinions, I won't be able to go for it because the risk was too much, wasn't it? So we did it silently. And then when we had it on, I wrote out the message on my notes and then I sent the message after. I thought, this is what I've done, this is what we're doing. But yeah, initially they were very wary, weren't they?
They were super wary because they were like,
Yeah.
you know, I think the rent was about £800
Yeah.
per month, and they're like, what if you don't make any money? What if you get no bookings? The typical fear that goes through everyone's mind. And I was like, look, between us we can cover it, like with the salaries and stuff, and it didn't feel like that much of a risk, but it would have just skinned us every single month. So it was. And we were like, okay, we can do this. And we'd signed the papers, we got the keys, then we told them. And
I think we furnished it as well.
probably we're like, look, we're in this now. So, and they were like, well, you know, okay. And I think...
When can you get out of it?
Yeah,
When's the break
yeah.
clause? I thought we've not even got going yet.
Yeah. and it wasn't long before they were completely turned. They were like, this is great, you need to scale this up. And they were so behind it, weren't they?
They were fully involved.
Amazing.
Any next property we took
They
on
were.
then, they were there helping us furnish it. So just even a few months, wasn't it, where we could show it was actually working. They were like, all right, okay, yeah, go for it, weren't they?
Yeah. They just needed to see the proof in the pudding.
Yeah, that's amazing. I still don't think my parents are fully behind it. I'll be honest. I just don't think it's either they don't get it
Yeah.
or they just don't care. But I'm hoping they just don't get it. But it's good that because there's so many people that I speak to, friends and family as well, that they obviously support me.
Yeah.
But they again think that I've never heard of that. That can't be right. That can't
Yeah.
be. Or that's subletting. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it is, but you can do it because it's not subletting. It's
Technically.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're leasing it from a business to a business or from
Yeah.
a person to a business, and it's contractually all above board, and it
Yeah.
is all above board. There's many people doing rent to rent, and it is a real strategy. But there's still people that believe it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just
Landlords
don't understand.
included.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why one of the reasons we wanted to do this podcast, not just this one today, but we've talked rent. I think our first 3 episodes were about rent to rent, to try and break through that barrier and cancel out all the noise, because there's so much noise.
Yeah.
So it's so good that what are we on now? 14 episodes later, that we're back on a rent to rent topic and sharing more success from it, because it is a success. So how many rent to rents do you have now?
So I've got about 20 now.
20 or 21.
21, and yeah, they're all based between West Yorkshire and North Yorkshire. We live in North Yorkshire, so it's naturally that's just kind of where you invest into, and I think it's one of those that we always thought we needed to be nearby. Yep. As well, which we've proved ourselves wrong with over the years. So I think now if we were to invest more into more units, I'm sure we'll get onto that in a second, but if we were to invest into more units, I think we'd go a little bit further afield as well. There's so many great areas in the UK that rent-to-rent would be a success in. There's a lot that it also wouldn't be, but there's so many good areas that I've seen people operate and make a ton of money in that I think we would be silly to not expand outwards.
How far are we talking?
Well, if we're talking beyond the UK, I think Dubai is the next one for us. Dubai is the next one for us. We've looked at this market for a long time. It was funny actually driving in the car on the way down here. We were speaking about how long we've wanted to invest in Dubai with Rent-to-Rent, and we actually bought the domain name for our supposed Dubai company, which we've not even set up yet, by the way, but we bought the domain name for it in 2023.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 2 years ago, we were already sort of thinking that, even though it was like a pipe dream back then.
But like if we buy it, it's getting
it's solidified it.
it's solidifying it.
Solidified what you want to do, and solidified that you can't change the name.
Yeah, exactly.
You're stuck with that name.
It's no going back.
Yeah. Maybe the name doesn't really hit anymore, actually.
You're stuck with it. Yeah. Great. So going on to, I was going to leave this to a little bit later. So what's next for Ben and Hollie? What and your business is the Yorkshire Hosts.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's right. Which is really hard to do in Dubai.
Very hard to do. Very hard to do. I'll not ask what the domain is because you've said you've not launched that business yet. Is that
not
right?
quite? Not quite.
Yeah.
No. We'll keep that under wraps.
Yeah,
but,
we'll keep that.
It flows on very, very similar to the Yorkshire Host. You can probably take a wild guess at what it is, but Dubai, the Dubai Airbnb rent-to-rent company is very much in action, I guess you could say. So we're looking at, we're in November, end of November 25 now. So ideally February, March 2026 is when we want to kick off with that company.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you're going to move out there?
Mm-hmm.
All part of the plan, yeah. So we officially move in January 26.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good idea to move, because if a toilet breaks, it's difficult to get to Dubai to fix that.
Yeah. It's good. You want to be hands-on. I think when you're setting up a business, you want to be hands-on with it, and this is what I tell everyone to do: is you can't automate from the beginning. It doesn't work. Be hands-on with it, figure everything out yourself, and then automate. That's key.
So you have to be there. I'm assuming the Yorkshire Host business in Yorkshire is pretty much automated. You've got your automations in place, you've got your team in place, and it's kind of a self-sufficient business with you now just helicopter view overseeing it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
It took a while to get to that, didn't it?
It took a long
us
time.
Years to get to that point.
Well, that's an episode in itself to talk about how you get from a start-up business to a systemised business. You'll have to come back for that one. We definitely don't have time for that. So it's great that you've built that foundation, you've built that business that is now allowing you to move to your dream place.
Yes.
Would you say that's right?
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. We both wanted to, me and Hollie met 7 years ago, we both wanted to move to Dubai before we even met. So when we got together, we're like, oh great, we've got the same dream that we want to do and want to achieve.
You weren't even been to Dubai at this point.
I'd not been, but I saw it online and I was like, that's where I need to be.
That one.
And then we had the business together, we started that, and it was like, we figured out that rent-to-rent in Dubai is a great market, and we're like, I want a piece of that pie. It's taken a while to kind of get to this point, but it feels like the next natural step for where we are with our business. So that's what's happening soon, very soon.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very exciting. I'm really excited to see where that goes and how that goes. It's a great market. There's a lot of people in that market. One thing I wanted to just briefly touch on, because again, we could fill another episode with how Dubai is and the markets there. Is rent-to-rent happening in Dubai, or is this something that you're bringing from the UK to Dubai? Is it already happening? Is it popular? Is it...
Great question. Rent-to-rent in Dubai is massive. It's very saturated as well. There's a lot of big big operators who can pour millions of pounds into Rent-to-Rent in Dubai. So I don't think it's a case of we're bringing it over. It's very much there. It's very much a concrete foundation of what Rent-to-Rent is. I think the thing that we can bring is the experience and the knowledge that we've got of building businesses here, and drop that into Dubai. And what I mean when I say that is leading with the product. I think if you've got a great product and you've got a great Airbnb and you put that on the market, I think that's what allows you to have that success and do well, or at least establish it. Obviously the systems follow, but it's that thing. And if you can lead with a great product, I think you should be in a good place to battle the competition.
I completely agree. It's the old saying, quality over quantity. Doesn't matter how much money you can throw into properties, and they might look absolutely amazing, but if they're not managed, and as we've already touched on, managed with hospitality in mind, it's just another number, right? So it's great to hear that you're not just joining that number, you're taking the hospitality skill set and the business ethos that you've built in the UK that's obviously worked into that market. So I'm really excited to see where that goes.
Me too.
Yeah. Another thing I'm really excited to hear about is how TV famous you are. Because a little birdie told me that you've been on Channel 4's Four in a Bed, which is exciting in itself, but you've done it with a rent-to-rent property.
Yeah.
Which is, for me, in my opinion, that's got to be a first.
Yeah, it's a first.
We do believe it is the first rent, and I think that we were a little bit unsure if it was the first rent-to-rent that went on, because we filmed this back in June 2024.
Yep.
So it was over a year ago. And when we were speaking to the crew for the 2 weeks we were filming, they couldn't wrap their heads around it.
We had to explain the model to
each person. They were like, so you don't own this? And we were like, no, it's a lease. But it was weird because they see people who lease pubs with rooms and stuff like that. That's a normal thing. People have been doing that for years, for decades. But with
hotels, lease buildings,
that's it,
and then let the rooms out on a nightly rate. That's rent to rent.
Exactly.
It is rent to rent.
Yeah.
It's just
pubs have done the exact same thing.
Exactly.
So I jumped in there.
No, but it is. You're completely right. But they just couldn't wrap their heads around it. No. And I think that's what was so eye-opening for us, and it really just did. Just basically say to us, okay, you guys are obviously the first ones on here, but no one's actually said we were the first rent-to-rent operators on there. Pretty sure.
I've got an exclusive for you. I've done some digging, and you are.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the first time I've heard that. That's amazing.
I've just made that up, but you are. We're just gonna say you are. Yeah.
I like that. That would be really good for the title of the podcast. Exclusive.
Yeah. So, how did it come about? Did you approach them? Did they approach you? What happened? Tell us.
So they approached us. So we had an email drop into our email, into our emails, and we're like, "What on earth is this?" You're just basically saying we're looking. They didn't say what the show was initially, did they? But would you be interested in having a chat about being on this show with your business? And we're like, "What? No, surely not." And then we just got on a call with them, didn't we?
We did, yeah. That email came through and we were scam.
Immediate scam.
100%, yeah.
Of course you do, yeah.
I'd have deleted it.
Yeah. We couldn't believe it. And we're like, well, we've got nothing to lose by jumping on a Zoom call. So we did. We jumped on a Zoom call and spoke to production or whoever it was that goes, the casting agent. And they were like, yeah, so you can probably guess this is Four in a Bed. And we're like, yeah, wow, okay. And I'll be honest, I'd never watched Four in a Bed.
I had watched Four in a Bed.
Holly had grown up on it.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, let's kind of see how this goes. And obviously
it's a guilty pleasure of mine.
It is, yeah.
It is, yeah.
Bit of daytime TV.
100%. And, first thing I'm like, right, okay, I need to watch some episodes. So we're going on it, and if you have watched Four in a Bed before, you'll know that it gets a little bit spicy in those on payment day. It gets, so we were like panicking. We were like, this could be terrible for our business. We might come across really horrendous. But anyway, we went with it because we're like, let's look at the positives. This could really help us grow, and it's free advertising.
We thought it'd be funny, to be fair, didn't we? We were like, if anything, it's an experience. And they'd seen it, so we've got a block of 5 apartments in Harrogate, and that's what they'd seen online.
Yeah.
They obviously look for got to have at least 3-4 rooms, don't you? So that's what they'd seen. We're like, this is our apartment block in our hometown. I was like, if anything, it's just good for us to look back on. It's memories, isn't it? It's a once in a lifetime thing. So we just went with it, didn't we? Our family thought we were mad. They're like, why would you want to go on there? But we're like, why not?
Yeah. And honestly, to this day, probably one of the best things we've ever done. I thoroughly enjoyed my time.
He wants to be a presenter now. He's like, honestly, he was like a new character.
I was going to say the new Philip Schofield, but that's probably not a very good...
yeah.
Sorry.
Very fitting.
We'll cut that out. So what was the process like? Obviously, I'm completely aware that TV is not real and it's completely different, but how different is it to what you actually saw on the episode?
The general basis of it is the same, but it's because of the way it's like done, you've got to repeat everything you're doing, and everything is done 4 times. So you could be sat in a room like this having a chat, and if the camera's not on you and you make a joke, they've got to then turn the camera to you. You've got to then re-say the joke, and everyone's got to laugh again. And sometimes that can happen 2, 3, 4 times. So by the 4th time, you're all just like, gosh. So it's real words that come out of your mouth.
It is, yeah.
But you do fall into a thing of kind of knowing what they want you to say.
Yeah,
that's it.
Because you want to get it over and done with. But the filming days were like 12 hours.
It was long. It was long.
Long days.
You see it on the programme. You know, you wake up and you're in bed and the camera's there, and it was that. You know, 8 o'clock in the morning, the camera's there in your face, and you're filming all the way through till about midnight.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really long day, and you do this for 2 weeks. You have a weekend off in between, but it is you're basically just told where to be, what to be doing for 2 weeks, and it was great. It was I loved it. I was just like, I'll just crack on and just do whatever and just go with the flow. But it is long days, really hard work.
Interesting. And it gets spicy. You said it gets spicy.
Yeah.
For anyone that's seen the show, it can get a little bit heated, especially if somebody doesn't like something. Was there any of that on the show?
There was a little bit of gameplay, I've got to say.
From you or from somebody else?
Not from us, no.
See, I would have been the game player. I'd have gone in with a strategy, a plan. I would have won that without a shadow of a doubt.
It's funny you say that, because we thought we had to do that. You get into it and it would be really tiring to do that for so long. For a day or two, you could probably get away with it, but you just end up being your natural self.
Yeah.
You know, you fall into your comfort zone, which is being yourself. And there was one couple who maybe took gameplay too far, and it just really comes out. It's super evident in the episode, and I'm really glad that we didn't go down that route.
Yeah, they asked to leave after the first week. They were like, we can't do any more. So they didn't even enjoy the gameplay.
No, they dug themselves into a hole.
And by the end, they did dig that hole, and everyone kind of picked up on it and realised, and it wasn't. They didn't play the game well. That's probably what it was.
No.
But it was funny.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So you do it again?
100%.
Yeah, you definitely would.
I
Would you do it again?
I probably would. I didn't enjoy it as much as you did I?
No, I really liked it.
It was like,
really
give me that camera every day. It was like, you were like a performing monkey, weren't you?
You applied for Big Brother after that. Big Brother, Love Island. That's good. So the episode is still available to watch on Channel 4 Demand, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So look into that camera and tell people when to watch it and how to watch it.
So you can watch it on Channel 4 on 4 on Demand. I think it's called Catch Up or something now. And just search 4 in a Bed. We were on, I think, mid-September 2025, so you can catch it there.
Brilliant. He does love it, doesn't he? He absolutely loves it. One more thing I did want to touch base on, and we kind of jumped over it. Your mentoring. You mentioned mentoring and your academy.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, it's weird actually. We never really thought, we never thought we'd become like teachers or coaches, right? It was never in our game plan at all. What happened last year was basically we had a lot of friends and family sort of seeing that we were finding quite a bit of success with Rent-to-Rent. And I think because it's known as having quite a low barrier entry, a lot of people can get into it easier than they can buying a buy-to-let, for example. So we started helping out family and friends with getting into Rent-to-Rent. Now, the issue when you work with family and friends is... try to find the easiest way of saying this without offending anyone, but there's very low commitment because it's for free, and it's like if they've got the time or they're busy, like there's always an excuse, right? And you can't push them.
Yep.
And that's what. So we fell out with it a little bit. We're like, it's not for us.
Not the family and friends.
Yeah.
We didn't fall out
with them. No. But I was like, what's the point of me pouring my valuable time into someone else that's just not that bothered? And then it sort of came about that we're like, you know, we put a lot more into our Instagram and stuff like that. And then people started reaching out to us, but these were strangers. And I was like, it feels a bit odd, you know, trying to help people out. But one thing that really pushes me and Holly on is giving people a boost up. We find it super rewarding. We've kind of always done it throughout life, is helping people out. So we kind of got back into it at the start of 2025 this year. And I think it's just scaled from there. People reaching out on social media and just sort of saying, look, I want to get into this strategy, and I'll jump on a call with them. I'll sort of understand what they want to achieve, why they want to get into rent-to-rent, and I'll be like, look, I can help you, and this is sort of the timeline of what we're looking at, and we'll work on your goals and getting you there. So that's sort of how it's come about, and we're at about, I think, 40 mentees we've taken on this year.
Amazing.
So it's been, but it's super, super rewarding, and this week alone, I think we've seen about 10 people that we've been working with for the last month or two all get the first properties.
Fabulous.
And it's just such a heartwarming feeling for us, or if they're already operating. I think we had one the other day, and she'd opened up about a month ago, and it'd be, you know what it's like, rent-to-rent, the first month's always a little bit slow, and she just landed a £3,000 booking.
Perfect.
You know, and it's just this sort of
And as
stuff.
we know, those 10 people that have just landed their first property, their first deals, we know that's the hardest one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And after that, just like buses, they'll start flowing.
Yeah.
And that's how it works.
Yeah, the first one is the hardest.
So the fact that you've got 10 of your 30, 40 mentees that have just got their first deals, essentially that's you helping 10 people effectively change their life.
Yeah.
I hope so, yeah.
If it means that they can step away from their 9 to 5, because ultimately that's usually the reason why people are wanting to get into rent-to-rent, because they want to step away from their 9 to 5. Definitely. They want to build a future, a brighter future, and create their own pension, as it was, rather than relying on, as you mentioned earlier, the pension. So the fact that you've created that environment that's effectively potentially changed at least 10 people's lives for the future.
Definitely. It's good because everyone does want to escape the 9 to 5.
Of course they do.
And it's great. What's been super interesting about the coaching side of it is we're working with people across a whole demographic. You've got sort of people in the early 20s up to the late 50s. And it's at what point they realise throughout their 9 to 5 career of like, this isn't for me now. And they're looking for an escape plan, an escape route, and they see rent-to-rent as being that. And it's nice because if you can help someone put them on that path of leaving, of escaping the matrix, that's a thing that is just so rewarding for us.
I can imagine, yeah. You should be very proud of yourselves. It's a great achievement.
Thank you.
Well done, well done. That's pretty much it from me. Obviously, if you want to look into that camera and just let people know how they can find you on Facebook, social media, how they can get in touch if they want to join your mentorship or your academy, because I think it'd be very rewarding for not just anybody listening, but for anybody that does want to get into rent-to-rent. I think you guys are definitely the people that should be getting in touch with.
Oh, appreciate it.
So straight into that camera and just...
If you are looking to get started in rent-to-rent and you want to just have a chat, you can find us on Instagram at benandhollie_property. Drop us a message on there that says the word Airbnb. We'll get you booked in for a Zoom call and hopefully get you started in your rent-to-rent journey.
Fabulous. Brilliant. One last thing from me. Anybody that comes to us outside of Sheffield, we do give them a little gift.
Wow.
It is little, but it's Henderson's Relish.
Oh my God.
So this is a Sheffield strong and northern. If you're from Sheffield, it's definitely in your cupboards. If you're not from Sheffield, it should be. So this is why we're giving you that.
Thank you
Is that
so
for cheese
much.
on toast?
It is for cheese on toast.
Yes,
However, it's also for absolutely anything.
Really?
Put that on anything, it will increase the flavour. But cheese on toast is an absolute
I'm going to take is that. So a pizza.
Pizza.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever put this on?
The weirdest thing I've ever put that on is fish and chips.
Oh.
I can weirdly imagine that working.
It did.
Replacing the vinegar with this.
Yep.
I might give that a go.
Pies. If you have a pie,
just
drench it. Stews, drench it.
Thank
Take
you
that
so
home.
much.
Let
really
me know how you
appreciate
get on
that,
with
mate. Thank you so much.
But that's it from this week. This was Ben and Hollie. I've been Luke. Ciao. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Proper Property Podcast in association with Olive Venture Properties. Make sure you like and subscribe, and see you next week for another episode.